Hey everybody, welcome to Healthy TV episode number 26, and this is the second episode of 2017, and man, I'm excited. I am having a great year so far. I hope you are too, and actually that's the topic of today is how can you work to have the best year yet? How to make 2017 just the absolutely like the get the most, squeeze the most out of this year so that by the end of the year you can look back and go, yes, you can give yourself a high five, be happy with all the changes that you've made and all the results that you've attained in the past year. So really we're gonna jump into, and I wanna keep this episode really short so that I kind of force myself to stay on track and just keep to the very necessary tidbits. We're gonna get into three questions that I think are crucial. And I actually think that these questions are really the best way to protect yourself against the New Year's resolution. I think the challenge people have with that. Know this, that 93%, at least some stats say this, 93% of people fail at their New Year's resolutions. I think it's something like only it's a really low percentage, but like 15% or lower that actually are still working toward their New Year's resolutions in February. So within a month, almost 80% of people have already decided that they're choosing to not pursue their New Year's resolutions. So I think the biggest reason why, and I can't support this, but I certainly I have no research to support this, but I do. It makes sense to me, is that for the most part, resolutions are based around something that people don't want. They're running away from something, whether it's whether it's weight loss or it's financial challenges or it's work challenges. It's something that people are usually trying to get away. They're trying to move away from something, and there's something like powerful about that in the short term, because as humans we do we respond to both incentives and disincentives. So what that means is that if you have something that you really don't want and there's a threat, then you're gonna probably work really hard in the short term to get away from that threat. The challenge though, and if you think about it like if you're just moving away from consequences that you don't want, the challenge of that is that if you start to perceive that you're getting closer to that, attaining that goal, the actual motivation drops. And it's actually almost like a one-to-one relationship. It just keeps, your motivation just keeps dropping the closer that you get to that goal, because you're moving step by step closer. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges. The other thing is that it's not very inspiring to move away from something you don't want. It's based on fear usually. It's based on stress. And so those things are really, they're not things that you want to be focusing on. So an example of this would be someone that's, let's say at this time of year, very popular, weight loss. So the goal is just focused around I want to lose 20 pounds. Nothing wrong with that goal. But the challenge is that it's framed around a negative thing. It's the unspoken truth there is that you're unhappy with your current body composition. And so you're moving away from something you don't want, which is the unhealthy body composition, towards something that you do want, which is more healthy body composition. If we keep focusing on the scale, that really drives, ask anyone that's used the kind of weight as the primary objective, that scale can be terrifying, right? Every time you step on it, it's like cringing, like, oh God, I don't know what the number's gonna say. And so what I recommend is that you flip it around, and actually this is the first question that I'm gonna suggest out of the three questions. So, ready? First question number one is, instead of saying, what do I not want, or what am I moving away from, I want you to ask, what is it that I want? So in 2017, what do I want? And that can be, I want you to get as specific as possible. This is where you create the vision. So another way to frame this question would be, imagine you're 12 months from now, you're looking back on the previous year, and you're just so happy. You're just, you're ecstatic. It's the best year you've ever had. What is it that had to change, or what things had to happen in order for you to feel like 2017 was the best year yet? So that would be the question number one. What is it that you want? And like I mentioned, I want you to get super granular about this. I want you to think of exactly what it is. It's creating a vision for the result that you want. So if it's something to do with your health, I want you to actually map out exactly, what is it what's the result that you want, whether it's, you want to improve your body composition. Okay, well, what does that look like? What do you gain from having that change? Is it more energy? Is it better sleep? Is it, better relationships? Is it, changes in terms of your self-esteem? So I want you to get really, really deep and granular on the vision. So that's question number one. What do you want? Question number two is, why do you want it? Okay, and for everything that you've written down in question number one, I want you to go and I want you to dive deep into what's the motivating factor behind that. And again, the first few things that come out are likely going to be negative, or framed in the negative. It's kind of things that you don't want. So the reason why you're moving, you've listed something that you want, is because you're trying to avoid or move away from something that you don't want. So that's fine, write those down, but then I want you to actually get into the positive motivators. So what is it that you're looking to improve? What is it that's driving you to want to have that result? And so this is what we can just simply call your purpose. So what's the purpose behind a certain goal? And the purpose is something that you really want to make as emotional as possible. So a good example, let's say, let's come back to the health. So let's say there's something to do with whether it's weight loss, and what you've really identified is it's not so much that you want to lose weight, you just want to improve, you want to actually make your body healthier. As a consequence of that, you're going to have some changes of body composition. So that would be question number one. Question number two then would say, okay, why do I want to improve my health? What's actually driving that? So you might list off some things like, I'll feel better, I'll have more energy, I'll be, have a clearer mindset, maybe I'll be happier, get more enjoyment out of my life. So those are all good things. Then I want you to ask, okay, well, why is that important? So why is it important that you have, more self-esteem around your body image? What comes from that? And really the goal is just to keep asking why. So as you write something down, I want you to just, in your mind, ask, okay, well, why is that important? And you can go down several layers deep. There seems to be people that reference number 7. So go at least 7 layers deep in terms of asking why. And then you'll start to arrive at some pretty deep and super emotional motivators. Oftentimes, kind of classic motivator for improving your health would be, well, I want to be able to continue to play with my children. I want to be able to grow, watch them grow up and have their own children, so that, in 50 years from now, I can be running up and down the hill with my grandkids or my great grandkids. And that's a great goal, and that's super motivating, because you got to do you got to make a lot of hard choices between now and 50 years from now in order to make that vision a reality. Okay, so that's the question number 1 and 2. Question number 3 is then, what are you willing to do to make that a reality? And this is where you get into, this is usually where people start, is like, okay, what am I going to do this year? So they start to write down, like, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week. I'm going to, I'm going to eat more vegetables, whatever the things they come up with. But without having answered questions number 1 and 2, those things quickly fall by the wayside. That's my experience. So question number 3 then, once you have it clearly defined what it is that you want, and then you've got a really good understanding of the motivating factors behind it, the purpose behind those, that vision, then you start to list out, okay, well, this is what I'm willing to do. And you'll find that you'll probably come up with some different ideas, but you're going to be much more motivated, and they're going to be, you're going to be actually more committed to following through on those actions, because you've done the hard work of arriving at the purpose. Purpose is probably the most of the 3. That's the most important step. It's the one that I want to make sure you don't gloss over. All 3 of these questions are super important. So, what is it that you want? Why do you want it? And what are you willing to do to get it? Answer those 3 questions, and I guarantee you will have an excellent year in 2017, and you will achieve the results that you're looking for, and grow. And that's the biggest, really the whole purpose of life is to grow. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that. Any questions or comments, please put it below. Love to get some feedback on this kind of content. I get pretty excited about this mindset stuff. Not sure if you guys do, so let me know. I'm happy to do more or less. So look forward to your comments and feedback, and we'll be back next week.